I just want to talk a little bit about the plan and why I'm going to be supporting it passionately. Councilman Frazier and Siver and I just returned last week from the National League of Cities Conference. We learned that other communities are taking plans and visions just like this and bringing them to their cities and finding themselves in hot demand for new development and ways to not only retain their residents but build upon their population. I'll touch on some of the things that we learned at the sessions at the conference, but the night before I left for the conference, I'm a late packer. I'm a last-minute packer. So I was late at night, and I needed a few things, and I live right around the corner from Walgreens. And I was thinking, you know, it's open late. I got to make a quick trip, and I'm probably going to walk farther distance from this council chamber to my car, leaving the meeting to go home, than I live from that Walgreens. But I had to drive to Walgreens, you know, to get those last-minute items, because the sidewalk from where I live to the Walgreens, it goes for a little bit, it stops, there's a ditch, there's several trees that are in the way, and it continues a ways down the road. So at that time at night, the only option would have been to walk on the road, which I wasn't going to do late at night. And that's not atypical in Southfield. That's I think we all experience something like that in some part of the city or the other. That's not smart development. That's not smart development for 2012. And quite frankly, Southfield has incomplete and insufficient non-motorized pathways all throughout the city. And part of the reason why I was elected to this body wasn't just to be a new voice, but also to be a voice for a new generation. And young people seek out a community based on how easy it is to get around. I have friends that they've moved all over, really all over the country, and they didn't take cars with them. They live in cities where they work, and they're happy to keep their life confined to that small, walkable bubble in their city. And that's a trend that goes beyond just my friends from college. The conference that we went to made a point of saying that two-thirds of young professionals seek out a community first and then seek employment within that community. And walkability and mobility, it's a large part of that, where you want to live. In Southfield, which is we're a huge business address in the state, we're proud of that, we're uniquely poised to take advantage of this floating potential, this floating young talent who might be able to find a job in Southfield but wouldn't want to live here. This plan also, and it's important to note, this plan is not just for young people. Improving our walkways throughout the city, it benefits our seniors as well. And I told a story when it first came before the Committee of the Whole meeting about my great-uncle who lived in Lancaster Hills apartment. And he was in his mid to late 80s at the time, and fiercely independent. And Lancaster is right across the street from Meyer, and he walked, and my family got really nervous whenever he was going about. He walked to Tel 12, he'd walk to the shopping centers around the area. You have a not friendly pedestrian walkway that spans across 6 or 7, at some point, lanes of traffic. And he wasn't incapable of walking and didn't want to be kept inside of his home, but it was just not a safe situation. Because our streets and our sidewalks and our crosswalks were designed decades ago when we had this big baby boom population that was younger. Now that population is growing older in age, shouldn't the infrastructure around us match that community's needs? So this plan, it takes all of that into consideration, and it meets at a place that satisfies the needs of my generation and the economic development potential that we bring. And it satisfies an aging but increasingly mobile generation. So I'll get back down to earth, because I know I'm overselling this plan. It's not going to solve our economic crisis. It's not going to turn Southfield into a walking utopia or mecca overnight, as was mentioned. But what does it say of us as a city council if we can't pass a non-binding plan that directly spends nothing so far? There's not $1 allocated in here for anything yet. And we reserve the right, as a body, to approve or disapprove any spending projects. We'll have public hearings with public input on everything. What does it say of us if we can't support sidewalks and bike trails, improved signage, healthy living? What does it say of our vision for Southfield? Literally, step 1 in this plan is evaluate bicycle and pedestrian-focused corridors to determine what type of improvements are feasible in the near, mid, and long term. We can support that. We need all the tools in our toolbox as we face unprecedented economic challenges. Approving this gives us another tool. It gives us another option to present when we're seeking funding from state and federal resources, seeking out private-public partnerships. And this plan, with City Council's approval, will be pretty strong. If it says this has the seal of Southfield on it, we're approving of it, we want to move forward with it when we're looking for funding options. This plan's important, so I support it.